What's good, guys? It's the first episode of the Educated Nerds podcast. I'm Michael Robinson.
I'm Omar Lowe.
And I'm Zach Prague.
So for this first episode, me and the guys just wanted to kind of give you guys some background on who we are, our journey as far as our athletic career goes, and then just kind of talk about ourselves and let you guys know a little bit more about us. So Zach's going to go first.
All right, so I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado, and I live here now. And for the most part, growing up, my dream was to play Division I basketball. So I played high school basketball, played varsity, all that, and then I ended up starting to get college looks towards my junior, senior year, and I ended up committing to Nebraska Omaha. They're in the Summit League. Had 2 good years there, and then just decided that it wasn't like the best fit for me and decided that I had to move on. So I started open my recruiting again, and I ended up finding CBU, where I ended up meeting these guys. I played there for 3 years. My first year there was a redshirt year. That was their last year. They were Division II. They played in the Pac West. CBU's out in Riverside, California. And then after the last year of the Pac West, they joined the Western Athletic Conference, and I played 2 years there. And then finished out and graduated with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and then I'm pursuing my master's degree right now that I'll finish in August in sports management. And yeah, spent 3 years at CBU where I met these guys, both really good guys. We've come to become very close throughout the years, and just being on a basketball team really develops a brotherhood that I hope to continue to have for the rest of my life, and I know these guys do too. And I think that's just all part of being a team, being in a good program that promotes family atmosphere and stuff like that. And we all just get along really well. And I'll let Mike or O go next.
I'll go next. So for me, born and raised in Los Angeles, California, went to a small high school, Robert F. Kennedy Community Schools, did my stint there for 4 years. I went the JUCO route, went to junior college in Seattle, Port Angeles, Washington for 2 years. After that, I went to Notre Dame Denimere, Division II school in the Pac West. Quick funny story, I actually played against CBU while we were in Division II, so I guess that kind of started my recruitment process of like me wanting to come to CBU. When we played, we lost, but your boy was going off, so that's kind of just what matters. It helped me, start that recruiting process, But so was at Notre Dame for a year. It was an up and down road. Decided that I wanted to be around guys who, want to achieve their goals, whether that's playing professionally or just the day-on-day basis of how you're supposed to work, as far as working hard. So that school was CBU. I ended up redshirting my first year due to transfer rules, and just wanted to get my body right and kind of prepare myself for the next level, playing at the highest level. I was skinny. Yeah, I came in, maybe 200 pounds? If that. Man,
like 180.
180. Did that, came in about 180, quote unquote, and then got all the way up to about, I'm going to just say solid 220, because if I say 225, they're going to start laughing at me right now. So I'm going to just say 220. But, so I redshirted, and then that following year, which was this past season, was able to play, go out and compete every single game in the time that I was given, So that was big. And I think aside from all the basketball stuff, just creating the brotherhood with these guys especially, and now we're excited to kind of get the ball rolling on this podcast.
Yeah. So I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Been here my whole life. I went to school out in Damien, in St. Laverne. Most people kind of recognize it now because they put on a really big tournament during the Christmas time. And so this past year, Sierra Canyon, who has LeBron James' son, was playing out there, and actually Dwayne Wade's son as well. And so both of them made guest appearances in what I like to call my home gym. And so it's a little quick fact about that. But towards the end of my high school career, junior, senior year, I started to get recruited. So I had a couple of D2s. But my dream, I guess, like you could say, kind of for all of us, was really to play at the highest level and to play Division I basketball. And so I really kind of was really trying to pursue that. And so, I mean, I had good schools, but I really wanted to play Division I somewhere. And so I decided to go the JUCO route, like Low, and it's a very interesting route. I mean, for those who have played JUCO, it's different. Lifestyle is different. Like people that you meet are different. Still good people, but it's just the whole process is different. And so, my first year, I ended up out of high school. I ended up having to redshirt, which was in hindsight kind of not the best decision, but I did it for medical reasons, and I really ended up enjoying that year. So I had a lot of fun with my friends. So the next year, which would have been my second year at the junior college, I played, quote unquote played, but I hated it. It was like hell. So I decided after that year, it was time to kind of move on. And so California Baptist is a local school, and my coach in high school had a really good connection with Coach Croy, the head coach over there. So he made some calls, and I ended up over there shortly after. And my first year, I came in with Zach, and so we were the new kids on the block. And that year was a really fun year. I mean, that year was the Elite Eight team, and we made it to South Dakota, and it was a really fun experience. And my really first experience of collegiate athletics at a higher level than junior college. And so, I mean, workouts are tough, practices, but the traveling and like hanging out with the guys was really cool, and I enjoyed it. And so then the following year, the year that Low came in, was our first year at Division I, and I mean that was a whole new experience. We traveled everywhere for the first 2 months.
A lot of home games.
I didn't get to travel though because I was redshirting, so I just had to stay back. But yeah, no, it was dope though, seeing you guys go out and travel and all that stuff.
Right. So I mean, we were, what do we call ourselves, road warriors.
Road warriors.
We were out every week. It seemed like we were traveling somewhere new. But that was fun. Won the most games for a first year Division I team, so that was pretty special. And then that year finished. So we're on to this past year, and I mean, this past year didn't end obviously the way we wanted it. I mean, we obviously wanted to go out the right way, but I mean, when you look back on it, the stuff that we accomplished as a team and the relationships we built in the locker room, I mean, I haven't been on a team that close and that tight knit in a long time, and so it was just great to have that, and great to finish out like that. And it was our victory lap, and I mean, we all finished, and I mean, got it done. So I think the biggest thing, like when I look back on like the college journey and stuff like that, is just like the relationships that we build, and just trying to get over that next hump, and seem like you persevere. I mean, because we all persevered through something. So
definitely.
I think that's one of the most important things being on a team is the relationships, because like you said, Micah, like we've all been on teams where there wasn't like that camaraderie, and like I think that happens a lot in AAU. Like my AAU team, we weren't that close, but we were actually pretty good. But like being on a team where you guys are all have that tight knit family situation, I think it just propels you guys to the next level, and I think you're able to work through stuff, even though like I don't think we had any issues, like any of us, throughout the years that we were at CBU. Like there was no animosity towards anybody. So I think it went well for 3 years until Low came in.
Man, I just try to come in like, it was weird for me because like, so obviously I played against CBU, right? And then now I'm like, okay, now I'm with CBU now, but I think for me, like that transition was just like my energy. Like, I just try to bring like a real, like, just always, I guess, turn, you should say. But
I was always very positive.
always positive, guys trying to make everything a positive, so that's kind of what it was for me, just kind of bringing that part of my character, just that high energy guy. So that was pretty much.
Nah, I mean, I think what was cool is because like me and Zach came in at the same time, so that built like our relationship. We were the new guys, so that's how we grew. But then having like you and then the other guys that came in your year low, like I think that changed like really the whole dynamic of the team. But like, it was great because it was more guys that like me and Zach's first year, we were playing with guys that were like 23, 24 years old.
And
all of
married.
them were like, yeah, they're getting ready to get married. So like you guys coming in was like fresh and like younger guys, more our age. So I mean, it just made the whole experience more fun that second year that we were there. So I'll say that was like a good piece. You guys were good pieces to come in.
For sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
But I mean, so we're here. We started the podcast. I know that the last couple of months we've been like really talking about it, and we dropped the trailer the other day.
Yep.
But like, I guess people want to know kind of like how we got here, like why we started this and just how we started. I think that's like the biggest thing. That's the craziest thing about it is because like we've been doing this for a minute. Like we've been talking to each other, just chopping it up. But like I was thinking about it the other day. Like it hasn't always, and it actually pretty rarely do we talk about sports. Like we're talking about money. We're talking about the stuff that's going on in the world today, stuff that we're interested in. So like, I think just kind of letting them know like what was up would be a good place to start.
I mean, first I feel like it started with just like having like our little group chats, right? Like the first one was on
iMessage group chats, yeah.
Twitter. Believe it was Twitter, right? So
yeah, it was Twitter.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know how the name even. I guess like I think like you just mentioned, Michael. Like we talked about stuff outside of basketball, so I felt like that's where the educated stuff, came from. As far as okay, so we don't always talk about basketball. We talk about stuff that's going on throughout the world. We talk about different situations. So it's like, okay, so our minds, we think differently. So I feel like that's kind of how it started. And then the nerds were just kind of just saute on it, something a little goofy, I should say, but. It started with Twitter. We just, was sending like, things that were like funny, but then things that also like that had a meaning, I remember
create a conversation.
Right. I remember we were on the road. I think it was about something on CNN, Zach, but that's kind of where it all started. It was a certain topic that was going on throughout that time period. And we just, we kept elaborating on it, kept talking about it. And then from there, it was just stuff that, that brings our attention. We kind of just speak on it in our group chat, so.
Yeah, I just think having conversation is important, and whether it's about anything, like obviously, like Micah said, we never really used to talk that much about sports, but like obviously that's how we met. So like it's a big part of our lives. I think being able to start something like this where we're able to voice our opinions on, like you said, sports and like other topics as well, like current events and news and stuff that's going on, I think is important. And I think it's good to get our point across towards people that also probably agree the same way. And I'll let Micah speak more on like the college athlete like proposition that we have for this podcast.
Yeah, I think so. Like my kind of whole thing on this was I was sitting down and I from time to time when I'm home, like you guys probably go through the same thing. Like you're at home and so you're like trying to figure out what to do like outside of just playing basketball and working out and not just kind of lounging around and watching TV. So I go on YouTube, and to be honest, like, how you guys, like, you get on something, like, it may be like social media and you end up hopping from like one profile to the next. And so it just kind of started like that. And so I was just watching videos, no jumper. And then I started watching videos and then they had a guest on. So then I went to that guest, like, and I figured out that they had a podcast. And so I was just thinking like how easy it is to like create a conversation, to have dialogue and just to talk. But then like, what can I do that is like that, but different and involves like what I like, and then something that is missing in today. And I think one of the things, like you said, Zach, like the sports world is very big for all of us. Like, and it doesn't even matter. Like, there's people that don't play sports, but like love sports, and so. But the college athlete, like you look at it today, like there's people that don't make, like, college athletes, like we put in all this time, like we put all this time and effort in, and we don't get to see a dime of anything that we get or anything that we do on the court or on the field or whatever. But just have a place to like express our thoughts and express like what we talk about, like in closed door, like behind closed doors, in like a real environment. And so I think that's what's really cool, is we're able to do that with something like this. And like with all of us being done, like we don't have to like sugarcoat anything. Everything like Lo, like, that's one of the big things with you. Like you want to be able to tell the real, and I think that's what we want to be able to do, is like be able to tell the real, like what we were, like what happened, like stuff that like we went through, and then stuff that we think that should be changed, and then bringing on people to talk about their experiences, because everybody has like a story to tell. And so I think that's what's so cool about this platform, and why we want to do it. It's just because everybody has a story that they can tell and want to tell, and so why not give them a place to do it.
And I think it's not even about even throwing shots. I think it's more just about having a platform where you can voice those opinions and just kind of be open with everything, you know, because you want to be able to talk about certain topics and understand that, like, okay, like it's not going to cause no controversy or anything like that, but it's just speaking on situations that matter the most. And honestly, a lot of people want to know, like, that maybe that kid that was at a camp this summer wants to know, okay, how was it like at college, or what do they think? Like, are they always about ball is life? Like, what else do they think about, you know? So I feel like this platform kind of gives other people like an understanding of like who we are, but also like the people that we bring in, that, like, you know, there's more things to the world than just basketball, you know? And I feel like Zach, for one, like, is so big on that, you know? Like, I remember this vividly. Like, every single time I lock him, Zach's always saying, like, yo, like, you know, oh, like, you know, think about investing this or think about doing that, like, just different avenues, you know? So that kind of, like, this year, like, I started to, like, approach things differently, you know? I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, let me look into this Acorns app, or let me look into this. Let me start reading, you know? But all that stuff matters, you know? So that's key. That's
yeah. I think that's important. Like playing basketball, like when you're young, I think like everyone's immature at a certain time, and I think like when you're hooping at a young age, that's all you care about. It's like just hoops and stuff. And like I guess for all of us, like O's still playing, but like, and Mike is probably still gonna play, but like you see the ticker start like getting closer to the end, and you're like you start thinking about stuff like, and I think that's where I've grown a lot in the past like 1 to 2 years. It's like starting to look towards my future and plan for my future, and really think about what I want to do with my life and where I want to be in the next few years. And I think the best time is now to be able to do stuff like that. And that's like I would talk to O about investments and stuff like that. And I'm still learning about that. I'm reading books on it right now. But I just think it's important to always keep growing in every aspect of your life and keep learning.
Right.
Yeah. I think, I mean, like that, like what you guys just touched on, I mean, we talk about so much stuff outside of sports that like it's crazy, because we're always like, one of the things that I've been really big on is like personal finance, so like saving and then investing, and you guys kind of really opened my eyes to that, especially like this past year, like downloading Acorns app, like you said, Lo, and just like working on that and like putting money aside for something often greater in the future, not just trying to spend your money now. And so I think like that's something that we can bring to like the people watching this, and just let them kind of see the direction we're going in, and then like, hey, you know what, this is kind of stuff that you should be on as well. But yeah, I think that like everything you guys said that's like spot on. Like we were talking about stuff that you probably like you people don't think we'd be talking about. Like,
exactly. I mean, it's like
we're all
like a stereotype in a way. Like, oh, like you hear the stereotype, like, oh, like they only care about basketball. Like college athletes, they don't care about class. But I'm pretty sure, like, you know, even us, we talked about this earlier. Like we all, like, Michael, what did you finish with this year as far as your grades?
I got all A's this last semester.
Zach A's, I finished all A's. So it's like, yeah, we're like really educated nerds, like, you know, like it kind of ties in though, like, you know, like
Yeah.
it's bigger than basketball. Like, it really is. And I'm not saying like basketball is not my life or I don't love basketball, but I'm just saying like where we're trying to go in the future, we're trying to, you know, be bigger than that. So
Yeah, I think what, like, touching on what Lo was saying, like, I think the most important thing is life is to never be like stagnant,
hmm
just like staying in one place. You always got to be doing something to better yourself, whether that's like with fitness, or like mentally, like reading, or like even watching videos, just something to like grow your knowledge in some aspect. I think is very important to do, um, especially for your future. Like, and like we said, we just started doing this the past couple years. Like, it's new to us too. So like we obviously don't know everything, but we just always want to keep growing and learning, and that's why we started this podcast, to be able to talk to people and learn from them. I think one of the most important things is learn from people. I mean, I know I've learned from Omar and I've learned from Micah, and I bet they could say vice versa. You just take little tidbits away from people, just by talking, just by doing what we're doing right now. You learn stuff about them. You learn how they operate, and you're like, hey, maybe that'll work for me, or I'm thinking the exact same thing. Maybe I can go do that. And I think that's why a podcast or something like that has good value for people, especially in today's technology area. It's easy to access and
easy.
easy to learn, and just keep growing and always have that growth mindset, I believe.
So on that, I mean, what have you guys been on? I mean, we've been in quarantine for the last 2 months.
Right.
So I think we should just talk about like what we've been doing, what's been going on, how this has affected us. I mean, as we all know, like, sports came to a screeching halt immediately. And so I think that's the craziest thing about this is, like, for all of us, like, we've had sports our whole lives. So, like, now we don't, like, can't even turn on the TV to watch a game. Like, and it's like the playoffs would be on right now, the NBA playoffs. But, like,
right. The Clippers will be winning the championship right now, for sure.
Yeah. But just touch on like what you guys have been on the last couple weeks, months.
For me, really, I just been taking care of all my outside of basketball stuff. So, you know, just trying to clean up, you know, the stuff that I'm working on, some of my business stuff that I'm working on. Aside of that, really just, you know, been trying to lift, do my quarantine workouts in my backyard, go on bike rides, you know, maybe 3-4 times a week. And then, you know, if everything works as planned, then get in the gym a couple times a day. So, and obviously, you know, doing it the right way, not in a big crowd, just, you know, me and my younger brother and my other teammate. But for the most part, just been laying low, trying to, you know, stay around my mom and dad, trying to stay with the family, stay clean. Especially right now in this time period, you know, the biggest thing is to really stay clean, you know, follow the guidelines and stuff like that. So for me, that's really what I've been doing, just been kicking back, chilling, and playing a lot of 2K too. So
a lot of sticks.
And I honestly, like, we've been going crazy on Park. So if any of you guys want to play me against Park, just let me know. Just go ahead and send me a DM.
Same game every year, and you know it.
But yeah, I just been chilling, man. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, for me, I've just been. I mean, everyone's been bored. I think all three of us have been bored. The whole world's probably bored right now. But I guess, like, I've just been working on, kind of like Lo said, like, my kind of life stuff. So I'm not the type of person to just sit around. I don't like that. So I got a job. So I've been working there, and I've been applying to other jobs, working on that, like touching up my resume, touching up cover letters and stuff like that. Been working on that. Just, I guess, networking, sending out emails, being able to just get my name out there, as obviously I'm looking for a career, and I think that's one of the most important things you can do right now, is to just refine stuff, because obviously unemployment's at an all-time low in years. So I think it's important to just refine you as a person, and like refine what you have, like not just like use this time that you have to do something that maybe you've never done before. Like recently, like the last year or so, I've really got into reading. So I've been reading books, watching videos, just like trying to just stay busy in such, I guess, times where you can't really be busy, going on hikes. And like Lo said, trying to stay in shape, I guess, is tough, because me personally, I really don't have any workout facility stuff in my house. So I've been doing like body weight workouts and stuff like that, which have been rough. Running, I'm not a big fan of running, but I've been doing that. But just trying to stay in shape. It'll be interesting to see if people are really in shape after this, or if people are really out of shape, because you see a lot of people out walking and doing stuff outdoors. So it'll be interesting to see once this quarantine's lifted to see how well people are health wise.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, man. I mean, like you guys said, I think the biggest thing is like right now for me has been like finishing school was a big deal. So like I took like a month and a half where I tried to work out, but just kind of I don't know about you guys. I didn't like there was a time where I just didn't have any like desire. Like I was just it was like school. So like once he got to the time to like.
Well, we came off a hard season, so it was probably good to get a break.
Yeah, that is true. So like I just focused on school, but I just got back to like lifting last week and trying to get out into my garage and lift every day. Luckily for me, I got a whole weight rack outside, so shut up. So I can do a little bit more and keep my body right, and then just I think one of the biggest things is like being able to be at home, and so because like as you guys know, like we don't get a whole lot of time at home if like during the year because it's just go, and even like if you think about this time last year, like I think we were at home, but like we were at home for a month and then we were right back at school, and so just being at home and like just helping my little sister with her homework and being able to be around my grandma and like I actually haven't even I didn't leave the house for like 2 months. So yesterday was my first time out. And so I got to go see my grandfather. And so just kind of being around the family, but being safe at the same time. And I think that's just like been what's been kind of cool about this when you think about it. Just kind of being able to spend more time at home than we normally would around people that we love. So,
yeah. And I have a younger sister she's going through the process that I went through, trying to get recruited and stuff like that. She's a sophomore in high school, so I've been helping her, working with her. She's trying to stay in shape just as we are because she doesn't have anything either. So she's just trying to hone her game and try and get better during these times, just like I'm sure all hoopers are and all athletes are, just trying to do something to get better. I mean, I worked out today over at my old high school field, and there was a bunch of people over there doing body weight workouts, like doing pull-ups on the field goal posts. Like they're just trying to find something to stay in shape. So I think, yeah.
It's improvising at its finest right now. That's what it's really looking like, you know? Like I've seen some people like, you know, pick up their couch, and I've seen all types of stuff on social media. So
pulling their car.
Yeah, pulling cars, you know. So I mean it's good though. I feel like, you know, as a world, obviously there's some sad and people have, you know, passed away, but I feel like the world is, you know, everybody's getting kind of a different perspective on life now. So, and maybe, you know, as well, like, you know, especially here in LA, like, you know, things are getting cleaner. Like there was a little resource that like the air is getting a bit cleaner. So I mean, there's a lot of things that's coming into play. So I mean, it's all a positive, you know. It's got turned into a positive.
Yeah. Speaking of like what Lo said, like a lot of stuff has like gotten better with like stuff being shut down. Like I know like you said, California has had like some of the cleanest air days they've had in a long time, just because like factories aren't up and running like they used to be and stuff like that. And I think that's been obviously a plus side to what's been going on with all the downside, all the negative. But I think we'll start to see stuff slowly getting back to normal. We'll see if normal has changed. I guess the term normal has changed to what we knew before, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think like when you guys said about like the positives, I think that's like a big thing to stay like mindful of, is because with so much negativity, like people losing their lives, people losing their loved ones, and just not being able to do everything that you normally would do. I know like being stuck in the house causes a lot of people to get in a depressed state, and so but like you guys said, like the earth is benefiting from this. I mean, I was reading something the other day, like the ozone layer, like there's a hole and it's starting to close up, because like people aren't out here driving cars every day, and like you said, factories aren't open. And I mean, I think Like the other positive is just that like you just have so much time to better yourselves, like you guys were saying. So,
Yeah.
but like just trying to stay positive is a big thing about this whole process. Is just like not getting down and not being mad or angry at anybody, because there's nothing that we really can do about it at this point. So, but what else we got?
Since we tie back to the educated stuff. So, I mean, what books are we reading right now? Any books of interest right now that we're reading?
I got a book list. I haven't started. I need to start it. I really do have a long book list though, and so a couple books that Zach has talked about, a couple books that our coaches have given us, and then even my boys, they've given me some books as well. So I need to hit up Barnes and Noble or order books on Amazon.
Curbside pickup.
That too.
Go in.
So what you been reading, Zach? I know Zach, you're a big reader. So I remember.
I wouldn't say I'm a big reader, not yet, but no, I'm reading a book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. Our head coach actually gave it to me to read, and it's just basically, if you guys know what grit is, it's about just, I guess, talking about the gritty people in life and like people that like they fall 7 times but they get up 8, and just like people that they see setbacks as another opportunity, not something negative. And I think that's important, especially in times like this, as a setback. Like a lot of people are losing their jobs, and I think, and that's obviously a negative, but like what can you do to turn that into a positive? I think like some of the most important people in life have like been able to turn negatives into a positive. Like, you sent something the other day. You said Apple started out as a clothing company or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's just that. I didn't know that. That's just a crazy fact. That's a crazy fact. And look at it now. We all like, I'm on a Apple Mac right now. I have my Apple phone, my Apple AirPods sitting next to me, and
crazy.
Look how crazy that's become. And I'm also reading a book on day trading, how to learn how to like invest and stuff like that, in the margins and stuff like that. That takes a lot of education. I'm not gonna know what to do after reading one book, but hoping to start that and see where that takes me, because obviously people can get very wealthy off of that, and also people can lose a lot of money. So you just really got to know what you're doing and got to be educated about the subject. So not gonna hop in anything too hasty.
Right. For me, right now I'm reading Think and Grow Rich.
That boy had that book ready. You know, waiting.
I had it ready, by Napoleon Hill. It's just a book that kind of talks about like your finances, kind of, again, getting that other stuff situated. Talks about a guy who basically, when he graduated college, the transition that he made. So it's kind of just giving a lot of insight and a lot of tips, I feel like you guys should read it, so I'll just leave it there again. But it's a good book to read, and again, just taking care of all the stuff outside of basketball. That's the biggest thing for me right now. So I just try to do that in every fashion: reading books, going online, watching YouTube videos. So all that stuff is just key for me moving forward. So that's the biggest thing right now.
And I think that's funny because like I didn't start I probably hadn't read a book since high school until like probably 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I bet it would probably be the same for you guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, and again, the only reason I read it in high school is because I had to write papers on it.
Yeah. The last book I read was probably like Cat in the Hat when I was like younger or something.
Now he's Cat in the Hat.
If we're talking
about a book for like 10 years.
We're talking about like actually sitting down, reading the book, going over everything.
Someone probably read it to you too.
Yeah.
The teacher probably read it in class.
For sure.
And he was probably sleeping or in timeout.
Honestly, I was a bad kid,
I know you were.
I were. So.
I know you were. I know you was a bad kid.
Oh man, but this is gonna be a great platform. This is gonna be a great platform for us, for all the viewers and listeners. This is just another way for you guys to kind of get an insight about, the things that we got going on throughout our lives and how we want to move forward with this podcast. Micah, Zach, and I, we're people who are going to give you the real deal. We're going to, walk you through our journey, the kind of things we've been through. But at the same time, we want to give knowledge to those. And even if it's just one thing you got from today, just kind of moving forward and how you can better yourself as a person. So
Yeah, and we want to gain knowledge too.
and that too, because I'm learning from these guys every single day, especially Zach. Zach is always on me. Micah's the guy. Micah's kind of like, you know, Micah's the guy that wants to bag you, kind of laugh, but Zach is like yo, like serious, you know. So it's like I gotta listen, you know, because these are guys that I trust. You know, at the end of the day, you don't want to work with nobody that you don't trust, you know. So for me, these are guys that I trust and guys that I really have a, you know, place in my heart. Right hand over your heart. Yeah, place in my heart, you know. So you know, so these are my guys. These are my guys.
I don't know where his heart is. We gotta teach him that too.
But yeah, man. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to say before we close this this podcast? I don't know. To you guys.
I mean, I just want to. It's been a long time coming, so I'm excited for this to get going, and we got plenty more to talk about. I think that as this grows, one of the best things about it is we're going to be talking to people that we know. Yeah. So, and it might not be someone that we know personally, but just someone that we're acquainted with. And so just bringing on guests and talking about their experiences. So just heads up for that. Stay tuned. And I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
Episode 1 of many.
Yes,
exactly.
And also, don't forget to follow the Instagram page, Educated Nerds. And then our personals are in there as well if you want to kind of get more of a feel of what we're doing personally. But yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well.
All right then, boys.
Peace.